Alright, hi guys, welcome to our week 8, week 12, chapter 8 of our reading and discussion. This week is actually our last unit that we'll be looking through. It's actually the last unit of the book, I believe. And after this week, we'll be spending more time with preparing for the tests. Okay. So before we start, I'd just like to go through our PowerPoints as usual. The textbooks, I hope you're caught up on both. We will be testing for 8 units on both books, so please be aware and make sure that you're doing your listening practice as well as keeping up with and reviewing your Q skills. We will be doing Zoom. If you have a discussion class with me, a Zoom class on Wednesday, this Wednesday will be off. There's no Zoom. So we'll be making up any of our unit answers in the following weeks, just before the exams. Okay? So this 19th of May will be no Zoom. Enjoy your Buddha's birthday. Unit 8 will be expected to be delivered to me on time as usual, just like every other assignment. Please do not be late. I will not be accepting any excuses unless it's a major crisis. If you do have questions, please send them to Edmodo so I can check them quickly. And I will not be grading anything that you send me by message or by email, so you should know that by now. But keep that in mind. Just a moment. Okay, Unit 8. Here we go. This is behavioral studies. We're basically going to be reading to scan, which we've done before. Critical thinking includes identifying problems and solutions. The vocabulary includes collocations with adjectives and collocations with prepositions. There will be an argumentative essay if you choose to do the writing, and the grammar extends to sentence fragments. And the first thing that we have to take a look at is page 187. Let me just zoom in here. Okay. What does it take to be successful? This is the unit question. And there are some early discussion questions, such as, how does someone become a successful athlete? Number 2, what are some things people give up or sacrifice in order to be successful? And number 3, look at the photo. What do you think these women needed to do in order to be successful? So I'd like to hear from each of you. Show me that you understand the questions. As usual, you can be, there's not a lot of room in the book, so I would suggest, as always, using a big old post-it note or your own notebook, and you can show me your writing. Tape it on the pages or take separate pictures, whatever you need to do, so that I can easily read your writing and send it in. Remember, guys, take your pictures carefully. There's still some people that are sending me upside down or sideways pictures, 2 pages at once. I'm not going to spend any time downloading your images so that I can put them right side up and read them. Okay? If I did that, it would take me an hour to fix everyone's mistakes. So please, when you submit, before and after, make sure that your pictures are right side up, that they are, either I can zoom in for the pictures that you send me, or they are legible. And 1 page at a time should be fine. That way it would be much easier to send me JPEGs that I can read. Okay? Part 2 includes a listening. We're just going to listen first, and then we can answer these questions. Felix believes success does not have to be about money or a career. How can a person be successful without earning a lot of money? That's a good question. Number 2, Sophie believes that people can't be successful by themselves. Do you agree or disagree, and why? So here, of course, they're both opinions, but here you have to agree or disagree and state reasons. Number 3, Marcus states that people need to be able to adapt to changes in order to be successful. Okay, adaptation. Do you feel the same way? Can you give an example? So again, that's an agreement or disagreement with Marcus's opinion. Can you give an example to back up, okay, your agreement or disagreement? Let's have a listen.
Unit 8, Behavioral Studies, the Q Classroom.
The Unit 8 question is, what does it take to be successful? To talk about this, we have to agree on what successful means. So what do you think, Felix? What is success? And how can we be successful?
I think that success is achieving your goals. If you want something and you are able to do it, then you are successful. It doesn't have to be about money or a career.
And what does it take to be successful?
To be successful, you need to be determined, to keep trying even if it's difficult.
Okay, good insight. Sophie, what else? What does it take to be successful besides determination?
I think you need to have good relationships. I don't think people can be successful by themselves. You need to have other people around you to support you.
Do you agree with that, Una? Are relationships with others an important part of being successful?
Yes, I agree. For me, family is very important.
So to be successful takes determination and support from others. What else? Marcus, what do you think it takes to be successful?
I think it takes flexibility. You have to be open to new ideas. People who are successful are able to change when life changes. If you can't adapt, you don't succeed.
Okay, there are some IQ practice questions. We don't have to worry about this. This is discussion board. But there are some coming up. The reading one deals with fast cars and big money. And this is an article from a business magazine about the popular sport of car racing. So this is a business magazine, so it's written from a business perspective. All right, so know your audience. Use the article to gather information. All right, so first you have to preview. Read the headings. Okay. Fast cars, big money. Here's another heading. Does your business need a boost? Why are companies interested? Why is investing now a good idea? And finally, why should my company invest? So for each of these questions, written from a business perspective. Okay, so what do you think is the purpose of this article? So check your answers. Quick write. What are some ways that a business can attract more customers? All right, so you should be able to think of a couple things that you've already maybe have in your own experience, or something that you've been studying, or something that you've known through others. Vocabulary, we have some different words that we found in reading one. Assured, an adjective. Dependable, also an adjective, so they tell you noun, verb. Okay. Expansion, image, invest, logo, market, profit, sponsor, and stability. So you can find a way to practice your own pronunciation. Once you've gone through the article, okay, there's a vocabulary section. We've done this before. In this case, read the sentence, circle the word or phrase that can replace the bold word, without changing the meaning of a sentence. So basically the closest simile, okay? Something of similar meaning. So they give you an example, number one, the logo. A company logo often gives the full name of the company or the first letter of the name. The logo is a symbol, okay? Geez, there's a million of them. Pretty much anything that you can think of. Let me give you an example. McDonald's, you see the giant M, the golden arches, right? McDonald's, the first letter of the name. Anyways, you go through there and find which of these three is the most correct answer. All right. On page 191, you need to read the main ideas and write the paragraph number. Which of these main ideas is found with each paragraph? So the summary, the topic sentence, whatever you want to call it, the main idea for each paragraph. Categorize. Here we have another graph. This is an organizer. You should list 2 reasons that answer each question. Okay, so 1 or 2 reasons, and they do give you a couple examples to get you started. Compose is use maybe a couple sentences to write down a summary of reading 1 in your words. Okay, you might also think of the graphic organizer or even the topic sentences to make it short. Identify. Here, if you look at reading 1, and they tell you the paragraph where to look, which of these are the meanings, okay, the reference, okay, what does this refer to, what does this, so the pronouns these, this, okay, what do those words refer to? So what is the actual noun or idea or verb or whatever it is that it's being replaced by the pronoun? Discussion. Write what you think. Here's a few more long answers for you. In sponsoring Formula One racing, is sponsoring Formula One racing a good or bad investment? Explain. So you have to say yes or no, but you also have to give your reasons. Do you think that businesses that sponsor sports like car racing would be as successful without giving sponsorship money? Why or why not? So they already give you some examples, but if you prefer other sports that you're more familiar with, such as baseball or soccer, I mean, they have huge investors, sponsors from, of course, equipment companies or sports companies such as Nike, but also they have, just about everything, all kinds of sponsors for different reasons. Why do you think banks choose to advertise on Formula One racing cars? Why would banks do that? Banks have nothing to do with racing. They have to do with money investment. So you can choose one. Okay, well, actually, I'd like you to answer all of them just because you can in 1 or 2 sentences. Show me your own thoughts. The reading skill. Okay, scanning means looking through a text quickly to find specific information such as names, numbers, and dates. Of course, you can look for key phrases, but here we have keywords in the sentences to help you. Businesses that sponsor race teams include and So they're basically looking for examples of businesses that sponsor race teams. So you're going to have to look through reading one, which you've already been doing, and finding 3 different examples. Okay, and you have to do that for each of these. Let's keep moving. Okay, scan again and look for missing numbers. So they're actually, should be quite easy. You're looking for numbers or even sentences, okay, that describe numbers. But you're basically looking for a numerical value. So you can do that quite quickly if you're scanning. Now, reading 2 is called Practice Makes Pain. This is a newspaper article about child athletes and what they need to do to succeed. So, look at the title. What do you think the writer will say about child athletes? Okay, practice makes pain. It's easy for children to be successful if they start early, or the sacrifices children make for success are sometimes too great. I think that would be a fairly obvious, okay, just by reading this title. Good or bad kind of title. Are competitive sports good for children? Here's the quick write. You don't have to write for 20 minutes. You can just think of a few answers on your own. Of course, it's an opinion. Some of the words we'll be looking at in this article are aggressively, dedication, demanding, due to, there's a prepositional phrase, exception, motion, recover, sign, and trend. Okay? So you can practice further with your online workbook, or you can go straight into the article. And you can see by these pictures they're quite young. There's a vocabulary that starts after the article on page 195. Now, basically, which of these 1, 2, or 3, A, B, or C, can replace the bold word? So it's the same thing. We're looking for similes, similar meaning. When you get to part C, you need the paragraph number. You've done this before. And then answer the question. What are many youth sports injuries due to? Due to. Why does it happen most often? Okay, when you find the paragraph, you can find the answer. Categorize. Here we need to look at this chart closely. We have the first column is the name. The next is their home, where they are from. Next is their sport. And next, what is their injury? Okay, so whoever this person is, they have a sprained ankle, a dislocated bone, and a broken pelvis from their sport. Okay. All we know about this person is they play baseball. But we do know Courtney Thompson is the first example. She's from New Hampshire in America. We don't know the sport or the injury, but that was all found in the reading. Fact or opinion, you've done this before. Okay, is it a numerical scientific fact, or is it something that other people can have a different opinion about? Okay, a different idea, right or wrong, good or bad. Identifying problems and solutions. Okay, so often if you present a problem, you should also offer solutions. Okay, so I'm always late for class. I need to set my alarm an hour earlier. Okay, I'm not sure. Whatever you want. but you need to identify the main problem and then find the solutions in the text. Then you can evaluate the solutions and find alternative solutions to see if there are better ways to solve the problem. Here, let's take a look at the IQ practice.
Welcome to the Critical Thinking Strategy for Unit 8. The strategy for this unit is identifying problems and solutions, a useful skill for many academic-style classes. If you can identify problems and solutions, you can then decide whether the solutions are good or bad. Many academic and factual texts present problems and suggest solutions, either from the author of the text or other experts. Identifying the problems and then evaluating the solutions will improve your understanding of a text and give you a more informed opinion of the topic. What is a solution? A solution to a problem is a way of solving or dealing with the problem. Though not all solutions are created equal. Some may address a problem well, while others may not. Therefore, it is important to evaluate a presented solution to see if it is viable. When you evaluate a solution, you form an opinion of it after thinking carefully about its advantages and disadvantages. You can even do further research to see if other sources of information support the solution. If they support the solution, this means that the presented solution is more viable. How can you identify problems and solutions? First, start by reading a text carefully to identify the main problem the author is writing about. You can use a pen to highlight the part of the text that describes the problem. Take this statement from a sports science journal, for example. It discusses why some countries don't have enough top-class athletes to compete in international competitions, such as the Olympics. Now, look for solutions in the text. Highlight them. Make a note of where the solutions come from. For example, are they the author's ideas, or do they come from experts in the field? Make notes to help you remember. Next, start evaluating the solutions. What are the advantages and disadvantages of each one? For example, the author suggests that children should learn more sports at school. The author argues that this is the best solution because this would make more children interested in sports, and it could help coaches identify children with natural talent. Try to think of other advantages and make notes. Think of your experiences with school. How would you feel if you were forced to do more sports? Would you become more interested? Do your experiences go into the advantages or the disadvantages field? Now, let's focus on the disadvantages. Make notes of any disadvantages described in the text and add your own ideas. For example, schools would need to buy sports equipment, and they would need more physical education teachers. Also, not all children enjoy sports. They would rather learn something else. Always remember that you can do your own research. If an author is only giving his or her opinion, try to find expert opinions to compare with. Sometimes, authors don't follow the popular trend, and it will be up to you to decide if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Think like this for each solution. Which solution do you think is the best? For example, this student thinks sponsoring athletes is the best solution because it focuses on those people who have talent and enjoy sports. The student feels this is better than spending money on children who aren't interested or don't have any talent. What do you think? Can you think of a different solution? Is your solution better? Why do you think so? What are the advantages and disadvantages of your idea? Now, let's practice with a similar theme. Think about these statements. Which is the problem? What are the solutions? The problem, of course, is some people think that ticket prices for sporting events are too expensive. Many fans can't afford to see their favorite team play. Now, what do you think about the solutions? Do you think they will solve the problem? Think about solution 1. Pay players less. What are the advantages and disadvantages of this idea? Make notes of your ideas. Here are some ideas. Which are advantages and which are disadvantages? So, some advantages of solution 1 are that it would make fans happy and would reduce the cost of matches. However, this doesn't mean that clubs would reduce their ticket prices. This is a disadvantage. Other disadvantages are that if not all clubs pay less, players might go to other teams or even go abroad to get more money. Now think about the other solutions. Evaluate them in the same way. Can you think of other ideas? Do you have an original solution you would like to suggest? To recap, many academic articles present problems and solutions. Identifying and evaluating the solutions will improve your understanding of a text and make you more informed about a topic. Thanks for listening.
Okay. Okay, with that little bit of practice, let's get my thing up here. Alright. You should be able to identify the main problem and the solutions with reading 2. And they tell you where the paragraphs, where you can find the problem and the solutions that were mentioned in the reading. Which solution do you think is the best solution? Okay, the number 1, according to your own opinion. Why? What other solutions can you think of? Are there better solutions than the ones mentioned in the text? Why? Or explain. Part G, these are inferences. Okay, which of these statements can you guess are inferred or talked about but without being fully stated? Okay, but inferred. Okay, basically you can guess which of these statements is hasn't been conclusively told to us but has been inferred from reading 2. So check the ones that pertain to the article. Why do you think some athletes like to push through their pain instead of quitting? You don't need to write 5 to 8 sentences, but you can show me that you understand this example of, it's an expression, okay, push through their pain. For example, I had a very bad injury when I was about 18 or 19 years old, and I had to stay in a wheelchair for a while until my legs recovered because I was, in a pretty bad truck accident actually, but I had to change bandages every day. But the thing is, I had to push through my pain to go to school because I didn't want to take a year off from education, from my university studies. I wanted to continue. So I had to go through a lot of trouble to get to school, to use my wheelchair in and out of different buildings, some of them with very bad handicap access. But it was worth it because I was able to continue and I didn't lose a year of my education because I was trying to stay on track to finish my first degree early. There are other reasons that you can give for an example of your own, but they're asking you what do you think about some athletes pushing through their pain. You can provide your own opinion based on your own example, okay? Just like I did. Discuss. Think about what you learned. Do you think competing in sports is good for young children? Yes or no, but you need to give reasons. Do you think coaches and parents have a responsibility to try to stop children from getting hurt while doing sports? Why or why not? Okay, agree or disagree, and provide a reason or more. Here's a video. Should universities give athletes money so that they can attend college? Basically a college sponsorship, right? It's called, well, most of you would know the word scholarship, okay? Do you think athletes should be given scholarships based on their athletic prowess because they're a good player? Should they be able to go take classes for free? Share your opinion. So just write down something for here. Let's take a look at the video.
This is Arizona State University, a major research university with almost 60,000 students. The Arizona State Sun Devils represent the university in many different sports. They have some of the best sports teams in the USA. They have teams in baseball, basketball, running, swimming, golf, and many other sports. These teams attract some of the greatest athletes in the country. Ike Davis, a professional first baseman who has played for the New York Mets and the Pittsburgh Pirates, was a huge star on the baseball team. Terrell Suggs, who won NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2011, played for the football team. Phil Mickelson, one of the most famous golfers in the world, won several amateur golf championships while he was a student here. ASU attracted top athletes like Phil Mickelson through sports scholarships. Education in the USA is very expensive. At Arizona State, the average annual cost for a student is about $24,000. This includes tuition fees, books, and the general cost of living. Because of these costs, many students need financial assistance. If they don't receive this help, then they won't be able to finish their degrees. It's no surprise then that around 83% of students here receive some kind of grant. And each year, universities and colleges spend around $1 billion on sports scholarships. They invest in facilities and equipment too. Arizona State, for example, has one of the country's best swimming and diving facilities. It has an 18-hole golf course and a 71,706-seater stadium, the Sun Devil Stadium. There's also a softball stadium, a soccer stadium, and the Wells Fargo Arena, home to the Sun Devils basketball team. But why do universities like Arizona State invest so much on sports? College sports are very popular in the United States. College football, for example, is the second biggest spectator sport in the country. Sporting success is a great advertisement for the university, so if they do well on the playing field, they will attract the best students. It's great for young athletes too. The scholarship program gives them a chance to go to university. If they do well, they might become professional athletes. If they don't, they'll still have a degree. Many of today's professional athletes began their career at college. So for universities like Arizona State, sport is big business.
Okay. Let's get my picture up again. Okay. So once you've gone through the video, you can watch it more than once, of course, just like this entire video. You can watch it as many times as you'd like. You can answer these questions. And then the extension is, do you think universities should spend lots of money on sports facilities such as stadiums, pools, and golf courses? Why or why not? Because some of them do. Some of them are prominent sports facilities, and in some countries such as America, it's a very big draw. That means a lot of people go to these games or these different sporting events to watch some of their favorite college athletes, who they think some of them are going to continue into the big show, okay, of being a professional athlete. So in some cases, there's a huge economy that's based behind these athletes. But it's up to you. What do you think about lots and lots of money? This is, if you Google it, if you take a look, there's a lot of money involved in college sports. Anyway, your opinion, please. And then take a look, write what you think after reading 1, 2, and the unit video. What are some ways that athletes pay for success? So don't look at that word as simple in a monetary value, okay, money only. What are some ways that athletes pay for success? What do they sacrifice? What do they lose? Okay, because you can pay in a lot of different ways, right? You can sacrifice to excel at something. You might lose other parts or dimensions of your life. Okay, and you've talked about this already through the unit. Number 2, how do parents of child athletes pay for success? Same question, but consider the financial, okay, the money, physical, okay, the physical stress, also the injuries involved, and the psychological costs. Okay, what happens to your brain, your mind, when you are trying to become the best at something, to become a top athlete. There's some collocations here with adjectives and prepositions. Interested in, due to, we've seen this word already, this phrase, famous for, and upset about. Collocations are very, very frequent in English, and they're not always easy to identify, especially if you're learning through reading. But if you are listening, you'll find that a lot of collocations are used in a frequency of certain topics. And I'm just going to show you this last video before we quit.
Collocations with adjectives and prepositions. Collocations. Listen to the two sentences. Which preposition sounds correct to you? Why?
I'm interested in applying for the position. I'm interested for applying for the position.
What is a collocation? A collocation is a group of words that are frequently used together. One common pattern for collocations is an adjective plus a preposition. For example, the adjectives interested and involved are often followed by the preposition in. So we say, I'm interested in something. We don't say we're interested on something or interested for something. When you use collocations, your English will sound more accurate and more natural. Adjective plus preposition. What are some other adjective plus preposition collocations in English? For example, which preposition typically follows the adjectives famous and responsible? If you said for, you are correct. We say someone is famous for something. We also use for after the adjective responsible, as in this example. Which preposition do we use after do and committed? We say due to and committed to.
I am committed to finishing this project.
Which preposition do we use after upset, sure, and nervous? These adjectives are followed by about.
He wasn't nervous about his first driving lesson.
Look at these example sentences. What do you notice about the verb we use before an adjective and preposition collocation? In both examples, we use the verb be. We usually use a form of the verb be before these adjective plus preposition collocations. In fact, be may be considered part of each of these collocations. Note that we may use be before these adjectives in the past, present, and future tenses. Adjective plus preposition collocations are always followed by a noun or a gerund. A gerund is the noun form of a verb. Let's review. Complete each sentence with the correct preposition. Then listen and check your answers.
The high winds were due to a storm off the Pacific. Giza, Egypt, is famous for its pyramids. They like being involved in helping the community. I'm very sure about my decision to buy a new car.
Okay, guys. Let's put this up again. There we go. If you actually are interested in collocations a lot, because they are so frequent and such a huge part of fluency, okay, there's something called a linguistic corpus that you can find. Almost every campus has one. Every major publisher, if you just check out corpus, if you, I don't know, whatever's good for you, you can probably Google Harvard English corpus or Oxford, whatever you like. If you want received or British received English, Oxford's better than Harvard. But if you want American corpus, anyways, you can find lots of common collocations that might give you a lot of examples to practice. Um, there's also a word called a lexicon, which is basically the same thing, a little bit different, but close enough, where you can check for other everything from phrasal verbs to categories of fluid expressions and phrases, collocations that are used most frequently. You can see how frequently they're used and observe which ones that you know and which ones that you'd like to learn. Anyway, when you are familiar with the video, you can go through the adjective and the preposition collocations from this box, put them into the correct places for each sentence, and then compose. Choose 5 adjective preposition collocations from activity A. Write a sentence using each collocation. And this is 5 boxes. Please finish all of them. I'm tired of seeing people that just give one example and give up. Try to think of your fluency. You've come this far. It's the last unit. Try to finish strong, okay? And think of a useful sentence that you can share. There is more IQ practice online. The writing section, again, as usual, it's up to you. If you would like to improve your reading and written English, then you can go through this last section and go through identifying all kinds of stuff here. This is great for your everything from grammar to your writing skills. So if you're interested in improving your fluency, of course, I'm not going to give you extra points, and I won't be grading your writing sections, but I will be looking at them closely and taking notes for your evidence and your proof of your extra work. And if you happen to tie with someone else at 94%, the person who has done the most work will be given the A+. So it's all up to you how much extra work you'd like to do with the writing section, but you should all be able to have an understanding of the topic, and it would be easier at this point to do the extra work and improve. Okay. Everyone can always go through the self-assessment and reflect about what they've learned. Okay, the next page is this, tracking your success. And of course, after that, it's finished. This is our last unit. Okay, so you should all, if you finished, you should all feel like this guy. Game winning, okay? We have had some people that have dropped the class over the last couple months for various reasons, of course. Some of them understandable, but a lot of you have also been working extremely hard, and I'm taking note of everything that you guys are doing. And of course, you have the same notes exactly, because all of your submissions are your own proof, your own evidence of how well you've done, and I've been awarding points. However, keep in mind that the next 3 weeks, our last 3 weeks, are going to be basically zooming in on the tests. Okay, zoning in on the test, not zooming. We're going to be, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to have for your assignment for next week, but I will give you lots of time and lots of practice time, review time before your tests, right? And I have to make sure that your test is fair, but your test will probably be about 40% of your final grade. So all of these assignments that we've been working on so far, they probably make up 2 or 3% per unit. It's not a big chunk. About the same as your final test. So all you need to do is review if you've got a good score for each unit. If you didn't get a good score on certain units, you should be thinking about how to further understand all the unit questions. Review, right? And your test will be nothing new. Okay, I'm going to be taking most of your questions will be straight out of the listening practice books for your listening exam, and they will be very similar for your Q skills. Okay, but the Q skills test is 40%, and your listening practice book is 15% overall. Your attendance is 10%. Okay, your homework is probably 35%. So there you go. So you need to focus on the tests, because that's over half your grade. If you miss a test, I don't know what to tell you. You really have to make sure that you're staying healthy and you're not going to miss a test, because like that's the way it is with life. You know, you cannot come up with the excuse at the last moment. Just do your best to practice and review. Start with Unit 8. Make sure that you've done a good job with Unit 8, and keep going back and forth between your Unit 1 to 7 and 8, and make sure that you understand how to answer all the vocabulary questions, the grammar. You understand most of the concepts. Vocabulary is most important, I would assume, because if you don't understand some of the words, you won't have time to read the dictionary. I'm gonna give you a further update to prepare you for the tests coming up, but I don't want to freak you out. I just want to let you know that that's going to be the final 3 weeks of our semester is reviewing and preparing, and then doing the tests. All right. So if you feel you're really far behind on any units that you missed, get started so you feel a little bit better. Okay, by finishing your listening practice books to Unit 8 and finishing your Q skills, and then reviewing any answers that you might have had a problem with. Okay, but I think that's it for today. I'm going to send you more information. For now, it's the same as usual. Get these in by the 26th of this month, and I'll have sent you some more information by then about what to expect for the next couple weeks. And let's get this over with, guys. Get this over with so you can enjoy your summer. All right. I'll see you all. If you have a Zoom with me this Wednesday, you can take the day off. If I might see, I think I have RDO5 on Thursday. I'll see you then. And the other classes will do a makeup day after the final, so we'll try to do a quicker unit review on the 26th. Okay, so I will talk to you soon. Bye for now, guys. Take care.